This video is about the Sprues. Just the Sprues. Hello everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Sprue review video. Yes, we are doing the rest of the Blood Angels. Yes, Games Workshop have been very kind and have sent me the new Blood Angels kits. Sanguinary Guard, Sanguinor, Sanguinary Priest, and the Blood Angels Captain. Now some of you out there will be thinking, that wasn't very kind of them. Stop. Honestly, this has been one of the funniest videos to make for me. I actually really enjoyed making this video as I was making it. The actual making the video part. Not necessarily stuff that went into making the video, but whilst I was filming it, I was enjoying myself for reasons. Yes, the new Blood Angels kits are here. They go on pre-orders today, as does the Codex finally on general release for everybody to finally experience the Blood Angels. Yep, they're here. It's very interesting making this video because I'm sat here as #1 best Blood Angels fan on YouTube and I'm like, cool. So guys, we're going to be looking at each one of these models. I hope you enjoyed this one and find this useful. There's actually quite a few cool little bits and bobs in these sprues for Blood Angels fans to have as part of their bits collection. There's quite a lot here that is to be liked and some stuff to really not like on the sprues. So if you enjoy this one and you find it useful, please do let me know down in the comments below. Tell me what you think of the sprues. Not the models, the sprues. And if you enjoy this type of content, then please do subscribe for more because there is always plenty more content coming in the future and all of that good stuff. And lastly, make sure you leave a like on the video. That would be very, very appreciated. I'd really like that. So without further ado, let's jump in to the Blood Angels again. Alrighty then, let's kick things off with the Blood Angels Captain. Here he is. There is the back of the box where you can see some of the variants. You've got the Power Fist version, the Chainsword version, got the sword here, Bolt Pistol, the Inferno Pistol, and the gold version and the red version. No Death Company Captain on the back here, but there we go. So let's get this one open and let's have a look at all of those plastic details, because there might be more hiding in there that we haven't actually seen before, but time can only tell. So open. There we go. There we go. Alrighty. So inside this box you will get no tray. There's our sprue with 3 shoulder pads, no less. That's cool. Alright. Interesting. 40mm round base by the looks of things, and our little this thing, instruction manual, that's what that is. So let's have a little look, shall we? Okay, so page 1, we're just building up the captain as we like there, and then we have our choice of parts, which are our chainsword and our power sword. And we have also the Power Fist just there. We have our Bolt Pistol and our Inferno Pistol. We have the Cloak, which apparently is an optional extra, which is interesting. Oh yeah, look at that. They built one without a cloak. You could just have him as a really fancy sergeant if you wanted to. Okay, cool. And then we have... oh, and also you can have no Iron Halo as well. And you can have the bear head, the death mask of Sanguinius, and a normal Blood Angels Captain head. There's the Blood Angels iconography on the shoulder there, or you can have the winged bit, as well as this kind of bleeding wing or the chalice option there as well. So, yeah. a couple of extra bits and bobs here and there. So, well, we should probably figure out how exactly we're going to build this guy. So, there's an interesting scenario where you could use the power sword and the Inferno pistol and have him looking directly forwards, which would look quite silly, which is quite fun. I like that. Interesting. Alright. Let's have a look at that sprue, shall we? 40mm round base as per, and here it is. Here is the new sprue. So, first and foremost, we shall take a look at this power sword, where there is a connection point right there on the cutting edge of the blade. Oh dear. Straight out of the box, immediately loses a point. A whole point gone straight away. I do not like this. This is not okay. Anyway, bad, naughty, awful. We have our shoulders where we're all connected on the underside of the shoulder pads. That's absolutely fine. We have our chest piece here where we're connected on the joints, which is okay, and at the bottom edge of the chest plate, which is fine. That's okay. We're looking for hip plates as well in case there are any. I don't think there actually are on this one. We also are looking for things like any of the kind of greaves and stuff having connection points in slightly dodgy places. So this one is okay because it's on the top of the knee, but this one's disappointing because it's on two sides. These are outward facing here and here, so this is a duff piece as well. We don't like to see that kind of thing. We have a connection point right on the tip of a finger of the power fist there, and then we have it right here on the outward facing part of the power fist as well, which is also a big no-no. The chainsword escapes, that's absolutely fine. Connection point on the back of the housing and on the kind of, well, the bit where the chain blades go into, so that's okay. Then we have the connection point on the wrist as well. 3 is a bit too many for that piece, but we'll just about allow it. The backpack, we have connection points right here on both of the vents, here and here, on the dome bits. They always do it. It's always a no-no. And then we also have one right there in the kind of congested area under there, which we don't like to see because it's just a little bit difficult to get your clippers into. So just be careful around here that you don't end up kind of gouging out one of the kind of exhaust vents here on the backpack. The cloak is also connected on outward facing details here and here. So that's the kind of folded part of the cloak. It sits like this, so it's right there, nice and obvious. If you didn't get it nice and smooth with your knife or mold line remover, so watch out for that. One thing I will give it credit for is it's a pretty nice cloak, and it is just in one single piece, which is okay. You could transfer that to pretty much any Blood Angel if you wanted to just kind of do a bit of kit bashing work. That would be pretty cool. So there is that. We have our iron halo over here connected to the underside, not on the actual spikes of the iron halo, so that's okay. And then we have 1, 2 and 3 heads, and they are all connected at the neck, so that's pretty good. We have this kind of belt section where it's connected right on the top of the leather piece. It would have been slightly better to have it on the hard belt buckle, which makes it a little bit easier to deal with. But there we go. And then we have our arm here, and we have this arm here, and we have this arm here. Here an arm, there an arm, everywhere an arm, where we're all connected right there in the kind of smooth curve of the gauntlet, which is it's not ideal, but I guess we'll just wear it. See, it's right there up against that lip, so it's going to be a little bit tricky to get that one nice and smooth, so just watch out for these ones. In fact, all 3 of them are exactly the same, so it's a slightly dodgy piece. The connection point up here on the shoulder is okay because it'll be covered up by a shoulder pad, so that's absolutely fine. We don't really mind too much about that. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else really to cover. I mean, we've got these bits on the shoulder, this bit and this bit here as well. So they're connected on the wing and the wing here. At least it's not connected on the blood drop here and there, because that's okay. Although based on this sprue, you kind of expect to see it. We have a bolt pistol where it's connected on the barrel, on the top part of the housing and on the handle. That's okay. And then we have the Inferno pistol connected here on the kind of, again, on the barrel, on the housing, and on the back of the weapon. It's just about all right. It's not a great start for the Blood Angels. That's not a very good sprue, to be honest. That is inexcusable. Power sword with a connection point on the cutting edge of the blade. No. Okay, I'm going to build it up. I'm going to kind of just see how I feel in terms of which loadout we go for. Because hopefully I already have like 15 Blood Angels camped in, so this guy's kind of just a nice to have, I suppose. Okay, so our captain's all built. There we go. I went for the Inferno pistol and Power Fist, helmet, and flowery shoulder pad. There we go. No tactical rocks, which I think actually makes him look a bit lonely on that base. But there you go. He's all built. So, moving on then. We're going to paint our next generic character, which will be the Sanguinary Priest. There it is. So, let's have a quick look. So there are variants here. We have the sheathed chainsword, or kind of holstered chainsword in some ways, holstered pistol as well. We also have the carrying the chainsword or pistol out, and we have what looks to me to be 3 heads, but we shall find out in due course. So let's get this one open, shall we? Let's have a look at what awaits us. No jump pack variant, of course. I don't know why I'm laughing. There we go. So, oh, another very busy sprue. There we go. Slightly bent as well. You can see it's bent up at the corner here. Might be able to see it a little bit better that way around. There you go. Slight warping in the sprue, but there we go. We get a 40mm round base, and we get our little instruction manual as well. So, again, we build up the Sanguinary Priest up until this point. So his body's fully built with his chalice and his vials of stuff. And then you have your options here, where we're either going to be building with the chainsword in hand, or the pistol in hand. Probably going to go for the chainsword in hand, to be honest. And it goes down a blue track and a green track. So here's the blue track and there's the green track, because you have 2 different components, well, a couple of different components here and there, obviously. Keep going. Then we have, 3 different heads, 1, 2 and 3. I like this one, component number 20. It's a bit Point Break, it's nice, but we're probably going to go for the helmeted head, because he's a medic, he should know better. And then we have our little what's-a-majigger, the one that has the Narthesium, or whatever it's called. It's not the Narthesium, it's the other thing. The drill type thing. Anyway, that's it. No optional shoulder pads by the looks of things. 17, 17, yep, 14, 14, yep. So just your choice of 3 optional heads. And of course, the different posing with the pistol and the holstered chainsword, or the chainsword and the holstered pistol. Oh, and also angled lights, surgical lights and stuff like that as well. So maybe those are different components. 24 and 25, 22 and 23, yeah. 21 is the same, yeah, backpack's the same. Okay, let's have a little looky at the sprue. So 40mm base, get out of here. This one is going to escape the problems that we had with the last one, because there are no power swords involved, so there's no cutting edges with connection points. But what we are going to look for is other kind of areas that might be a problem. So we have the 2 chainswords, they're connected at the back of the chainsaw blade, so not in the teeth, which is great. We have the bolt pistol here, if you want to build that one instead, with the connection point on the barrel, on the underhand of the pistol, and on the shoulder. This is a good piece here because it's not there on the elbow, which is what we like to see, unlike the chainsword next to it, where it is connected on the elbow. It's not quite at the apex of the armor piece, but There it is, as per usual. The other piece that goes on the other arm is this one. Again, no connection point on the elbow here. That's good. We like to see that. Connection point on the shoulder, and then here in the kind of medical assembly, just there. That's all right. This is the weirdest connection point for a foot I've ever seen. Right there on the tippy toes, especially on the kind of pad of the boot. That is very strange. I've never seen that before on a Space Marine. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I've never seen that before on a Space Marine. That's interesting. Then we're connected on the back of the leg, and then in here where it's going to be covered by a greave, so that's okay. This one we're connected on the back of the leg, and then in here on the knee where it's going to be fine, I suppose. It's going to be covered up by a greave. And we don't have a connection point on the toes on this one, so that's very strange. Very, very strange. Can't quite figure that one out. We have the head here, which is connected on the underside of the neck. And same for this one, but then the helmeted head is connected right on the top of the kind of mohawky bit of a Space Marine head, which is a very strange place to put it. Also quite a nice thick mold line going up the side of the helmet, so maybe we are going to build it with that sort of point break haircut down here instead. It's all about time of the essence is here. So our shoulders here, we're connected on the underside of the shoulder there and there. That's okay, that's all good. And our holstered chainsword, again, on the back of the assembly and here on the leather. I think we've already covered that, but that's okay. We have some of our kind of surgical lights here and here. We're connected right on the top of the rounded part rather than down here on the bit where it's going to connect into the backpack for some reason. So those you're just going to be quite careful and move with the curvature of the piece. The kind of additional kind of bit that goes on the base is connected on the underside of the rock, which is good to see. But then we have our little fiddly servo skull here where it's connected right in there in that nice congested bit just there. So you're just going to have to watch out for that so you don't end up kind of taking off the edge of the eye socket of the skull. The backpack again connected. Oh no, it just about escapes that fate of being on the turbines here and here. It's actually just there on the armored bit of the backpack, so that's okay. Chalice, we're connected on the underside of the chalice, which is okay. We have the kind of little fiddly bits of medical equipment and such down here as well, where we're connected on hard details, kind of the casing of things, which is good. And then the other kind of surgical lights here, 23 and 25, we're connected right on a little kind of sockety square bit that Space Marines often have. So that's going to be a little bit difficult to clip nicely, and just be very careful that you don't end up kind of slicing the whole thing off. If you do, don't worry, just smooth out the whole thing, but it is worth pointing out in case you do accidentally clip the whole thing off. Overall, it's better than the Captain Sprue. It's not amazing. The helmet being like that is a little bit of a downer. The greaves here were connected at the knees here, so it'll be nice and hidden, which is okay. And the actual kind of body were connected at the joints here and here, and then we are actually connected on the outward facing part of the cloak just there. So that's a bit of a shame, but it's not the end of the world. At least it's not 2 or 3 connection points in the cloak, so we can probably just about forgive this one. Okay, so let's jump in and have a look at how long it takes to build a Sanguinary Priest. The new one, no less. So our Sanguinary Priest is all built. There he is. Pop him alongside the captain. There you go. Space Marines. Right, we've got another character to do. It's this one, the Sanguinor. There's no options. Oh, dearie me. I have an old Sanguinor. I like my old Sanguinor. Now I have a new Sanguinor, where his wings are too high up. Anyone else notice that? Why are the wings so high? Look. It's just very, very high up. Almost as tall as the wingtip. The sword tip. Anyway. We'll get this open. There it is. There's our 40mm base. And here is our instructions. So there won't be any options here. It's not like there's going to be optional heads or anything like that. It is just going to be a build it as you see it. So there we go. There's the instructions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 pieces. At least it's in order so far. 8, 9, 10, 11. That's it. 12, 13. 13 pieces. Unlucky for some. I don't understand why the wings are so high up. I just don't get it. Anyway, maybe this model is going to look a lot more pleasing to my eye once we've built it. At the moment, it just kind of feels a bit large. So here's the sprue. Let's have a good look at that, shall we? That's what we're here to do. We're here to review the sprue. So where's my pointer? I've lost my pointer. So here it is then, the new sprue for the Sanguinor. Right, first and foremost, the sword does not have a connection point on the cutting edges, so that's great. We love to see that. The wings seem to be fairly smartly attached, as best as they can be, and with minimal connection points, and they are around the outside, so not like kind of inside these wing bits here and here, for example. They are here and here and here, and the same thing on the other wing, around the outside, there and there. So that makes it easier to clip off and clean up, but you still want to be careful because you want to get nice straight lines and not gouge it too much, because you'll end up with a kind of, it'll be very obvious kind of cutout of the piece of the wing. The body, whilst it's not connected here on the sword, that's pretty good. We do have one right here on the ankle of the greave, so that's a point of contention. You want to be very careful clipping in and around that. Our next connection point's on the underside of the chalice, which is fine. It's nice and easy to smooth down. And on the shoulders here and here, which will be covered up with the shoulder pads. We then have a connection point on the cross guard of the sword, again nice and smooth and flat, in order to clean that one up, so that one should be pretty easy. The head is connected in the hair, so that's a big bummer. That's a shame. It's going to be just, again, don't apply too much pressure with your knife or mold line remover as you're doing that bit, because it's just gonna, you might end up kind of smoothing out one of the strands of the hair of the mask, so you just got to be quite careful around that, because you don't want to kind of lose any detail if you're using a knife. The back of the Sanguinor is connected on the top of the backpack and on the underside of the kind of bum armor, so that one's just about fine. This one will be nice and obvious though, so again, just be careful when you're applying your pressure there. Our two shoulders are connected at the underside of the shoulder pads, and we have the turbine of the mono backpack, which is very nice. It's not a kind of two turbine backpack, which is cool, but they are connected all the way around the outside on the kind of curved circular parts, so you want to be careful around here. Again, just move with the curvature of the piece, don't apply too much pressure because you don't want to flatten it off. The this bit, the other part of the chalice, so it's a chalice in two halves, connected on the kind of rim of the cup, so that's absolutely fine. And then the other leg, we are connected at the apex of the kind of hamstring, and right there, big fat connection point right there on the outside of the thigh. So that one's going to be the case if you want to be really careful there, because it's going to be really obvious if you've missed anything or if you gouge it with your knife or mold line remover. The paper trail here is pretty decent. It's connected there at the part where it presumably connects into the backpack, and here on the underside of the kind of bit where it's going to go on the base almost, so it should be nice and hidden. We do have quite an interesting mold line just there, And this is because these pieces kind of cross the plane, so you want to watch out for that kind of thing. I'm assuming it will be the same thing over here. Yep, there we go. There is a mold line right there. This connection point is a little bit more intensive. We've got 1, 2, and 3 all on the paper, but then we have one here on the joint of the turbine and here of the backpack as well. So overall, the pieces aren't too bad. There's a couple of things like that ankle and this head and that kind of thing which are a bit annoying. And on this backpack we have connection points actually here when it could have just been shifted that way or that way to be on the flat smooth part, but no, it's right there on the ball with the kind of extra, those kind of smaller Primaris turbines as it were. So those are a little bit frustrating, but again, it could have been worse. It could have been connected in here in amongst the halo. So it's a Marmite sprue. It's okay. It's not the best. It's not the worst. Well, that was quick. Let's have a look at how long it takes to build. Shouldn't be, because it's only 13 pieces. With the Sanguinor all built, there he is. There's the Sanguinary Priest. And there's the captain. I don't like the model anymore now that I've built it. I just don't. The wings are too high. Look at them. They're so high. It's just weird to me. Anyway. It took longer than I thought because it was covered in loads of mold lines as well. So, yeah, I hope yours is better than mine in that regard. So, you know, there it is. But that is the Sanguinor all built. So, we now move on to the last Blood Angels kit. And, well, we're not going to pass any comment or opinion on these models, but we have the Sanguinary Guard. Here they are. The all-new, taller Sanguinary Guard, which we're just going to open up. Being very quiet. just you know. There they are. On the back, as you could see, we have a couple of variants. We have the pennant over here, swords, spears, sword, spear with pennant. So we shall now see what this kit actually looks like in the flesh for the first time. Boop. There it is, and oh my goodness me. Okay. Now, here's the thing, guys. Let's forget about this for a moment. Just for the moment, okay? The Death Company box had a Death Company transfer sheet, and it didn't have a Blood Angels transfer sheet because for some reason. Now, one of the things I pointed out about that was, and actually was pointed out to me later on, was that it didn't make any sense as a Death Company transfer sheet. The only thing you were really getting it for was for the successors chapters to have their Death Company signs, and one of theirs didn't make sense, the Angel Sanguine. So it was strange to me that there wasn't a Blood Angels transfer sheet, and it was also strange to me that the Death Company transfer sheet didn't have any X transfers, for example, that you could put on knees or on shoulders. Now, the reason why I was a little bit disappointed with the Death Company transfer sheet was because it did not contain any of these company markings. You see them all here. So the yellow teardrops, the white teardrops, the green, the black. It didn't contain any of the kind of skulls. These, well, it's got some Death Company bits here. Again, so they're making an extra appearance. But we also have all the squad markings for the first time in a long time in actual different colors, for example. So these are the things you put on the knees of your intercessors and stuff. to mark out squad 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, etc, etc. I think it goes up to 20 now, doesn't it? We have a bunch of vehicle markings and all this kind of thing. All of these very cool transfers. A gold shiny one. This is an absolutely excellent transfer sheet. But even when you take all that into account, we also have the Flesh Terrors, the Angels Sanguine, and the Angels in Carmine here as well, with battle line, close support, fire support, scout, veteran, and command transfers as well. This is an absolutely fantastic Blood Angels transfer sheet. This is the reason you buy this box. There is no other reason to buy the Sanguinary Guard box other than to have this Blood Angels transfer sheet, and of course to have some Sanguinary Guard. But this is absolutely fantastic. I love this. I wish this had been in the Death Company box, but it wasn't. Instead, it's here, and it's absolutely magnificent. I love this. It's genuinely the first time I've seen this, and I think that's amazing. That is wicked. I love that. I'm going to lock that in a vault somewhere. Okay, so aside from that amazing transfer sheet, we also get 1, 2, and 3 sprues. These are little kind of quarter-sized sprues, as you can see. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 spears on there. If you don't want to build the pennant, that's cool. Bag of 3 40mm bases, and the Sanguinary Guard instruction manual. So let's have a little looky in here, shall we? So the way it tells us to build this is we are going to be building these slightly longer bladed backpacks. They're actually quite cool. I like those. Are they a good replacement for the wings? Only you can decide at home. We then build such a hard video to make. We build all 3 backpacks, and then we build our what looks like to be our first individual, and then we choose the variant we want to build. Do we want to go for helmetless head and a sword? Do we want 23 and 22, which is a different sword option by the looks of things? Do we want the spear? Do we want all kinds of things? I mean, look, there's 2 different loadouts there. Okay, so that makes more sense to me to look at it that way. Sword and sword, or spear. There we go. Okay, our next one we then build up, and it looks to me like that's got 2 loadouts as well. So you've either got the pennant version, or the normal spear, or the sword. So there's technically 3 for that, I guess. And then over here we got our last one, where we have just the sword and the spear options. And yeah, so there is a bit of variation here. You're not going to be completely locked in. There's loads of different options here, different heads for things, different weapons, of course. Do we have any record of the plasma? No, not plasma pistol. There's the Inferno pistol. I don't think they can take plasma pistols anymore, and they definitely can't take power fists anymore. And we obviously have the Angelus bolt guns as well, are present and correct. Okay, so that's just the one. So there's just one Inferno pistol in here, as per the new loadout options for them. And I haven't decided if I'm going to do spears or swords yet. Need to figure that out. Yeah, the sword, being number 3, is 4 attacks, 3+ to hit, strength 6, AP -3, damage 2. And the spear is 3 attacks at 3+ to hit, strength 6, AP -2, damage 2, but also lance. So it's less AP, but +1 to wound, and less attacks, but +1 to wound. So, you know, choices. I mean, we're definitely putting the Inferno pistol on there. You know, you never know. I might play a competitive game of Warhammer again someday. So let's have a little look at the sprue. Oh my god, I've just seen the first one. Right. 10 points. Do whoever can guess what that just made me have that reaction. Oh yes, you guessed it. 1, 2, 3 blades, all with connection points on the cutting edges of those blades. Bad. Not good. We have a shoulder pad as well with 2 connection points here and here. We have a helmet here with the death mask. There it is. With two connection points, one on the kind of ear and on the underside of the neck. This one's on the underside of the neck, so that's okay. This one, underside of the neck, they're all right. Jump pack wise, we're connected on the large winged blades here and here, and then we have our turbine as well for the jump pack, and that is connected on the circular parts. Again, just like the Sanguinor, you want to be careful around there. We've got some absolutely crazy connection points here on this Angelus bolt gun with just a massive amount of plastic. That all needs to come off because the hand is going to go in there, so just bear that in mind. Connection point on the shoulder, then here on the barrel of the gun. The body here, we are connected on the joints here and there, and on the underside of the bottom armor, so that's absolutely fine. Then we have the legs, where we're connected on the back of the leg and in the joint. And then this one's an absolute sin. We have a connection point on the back of the leg, on the top of the thigh, and on the kind of the joint bit there. This one is on the curve of that kind of thigh plate, so that's going to be an absolute nightmare. We have arms and things, you would hope. So this one, the Inferno pistol, that's actually quite nice. That's connected on the shoulder and on the barrel. That's great. The blades we're just not even going to talk about because they're all connected on the cutting edges. That's terrible. We have bits of the rocks and stuff, which again, absolutely fine. Backpack here, we're connected on the smooth top parts here and here, and then in that kind of congested central bit just there. And then we have the connection point on flat edges on the other part of the jump pack just there, which is okay, I guess. This part of the kind of chest assembly as well, we are connected right there on the outward facing part of the tabard, so just watch out for that. But otherwise we're in the joints here and here, so these parts are okay. This one you just want to watch out for. Okay, that's sprue number 1. Let's go and grab spear number 2, shall we? Oh my goodness me. No blade escapes the horror in this kit. So all of the blades here, 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 and here, and here are all connected on the cutting edges of the swords and spears, which, as you know by now, from my perspective, is one of the biggest mistakes that you can make with a kit like this. Because it just means you have to be super careful, and you're never going to get it 100% perfect when you're smoothing it down with that knife or mold line remover. And if you're too vigorous, you're going to take a massive chunk out of that cutting edge, and it is very noticeable. It always is. You'll see it in some of my videos where I've done it, and I feel silly every time, but it's not my fault because this shouldn't be happening. Anyway, connection point on the underside of the neck here on this helmet. Connection point on the underside of the neck here on that one and on that one, and we should have another head there. Yep, a connection point on the underside there. We then have more shoulder pads, but are also connected twice, which again we don't like. When there's a connection point on the underside, it's absolutely fine, but when it's on the top here, you have to be really careful, because if you take too much off it, you end up kind of just losing that top edge, and you could see it every single time. You just can. Same on these curved edges here, on the kind of that frontward guard. You just got to be really careful with it. It just means that you end up spending way more time building it than you should have done. When this connection point here and on the underside there has always been proved to be absolutely fine. The banner here is connected around the outside. That's okay. That's good. We like that. Then we have a connection point here on this spear, which is on the kind of frontward facing part of the parchment that's hanging from it. Same on that one as well. Again, it's just all these frontward facing details where if you don't get it 100% correct with your knife or mold line remover, you notice those details, and especially when you're painting with contrast, it then just means you're always going to get this kind of recess, this little jagged recess where your paint is just going to run into it. It's going to be a place where you're not expecting it, which is why we don't like it. It also just means that you have to spend way more time building than you necessarily want to. And if you're like me and you don't like building, it's a big no-no. The backpacks all seem to be kind of the same, and this, oh my god, look at that knee. That leg right there, connected right there on the front part of the knee. A mold line is bad enough, but a large sprue gate right there, connection point. No, not good. Same here as well. In fact, actually, both knees. Was it the same on the other one? Did I just not miss it? Nope, the other one, see? Look, absolutely fine. No connection point on that knee. The other two, though, nah. And also connected on the back of the leg, and then also on the top of here, like that. Oh, this is a really bad sprue. Just, it's not good. It extends the amount of time that you spend building this over and above what it needs to be. If you don't get it right, it's on a really, really, really obvious pieces, which just kind of make painting more difficult, especially in the contrast plus style, which we like to do around here. But anything that's kind of prohibitive to kind of building time, I never like it. So, I mean, we are going to build it up, but as you can probably already imagine, I'm dreading this. So wish me luck, guys, and I'll see you all in a bit. Tell you how long it takes to build just one Sanguinary Guard. Probably like 40 minutes, I would guess. So there we have it, all 4 of the new Blood Angels kits. They're taller, that's for sure. And I bet you're wondering, did he manage to paint it all? And of course, I actually did this time. It just had to be the Blood Angels where I would be able to get it all done for this video, didn't it? It just would be. Yes, first up we have the Sanguinary Priest that we did build with that Point Break haircut, because the helmet was so horrible. And, well, the helmet's lovely. It's just had that horrible connection. So we just went for the easiest possible head. After we did the Sanguinary Priest, we, of course, did the Blood Angels captain. There he is. And, well, he's a Blood Angels captain. He looks perfectly fine, perfectly good. And yet another captain to add to the collection of captains. The Sanguinor is, of course, also here. Here he is in all of his golden glory. And, well, I think I did a really, really good job on that sword. I can't wait for you guys to see how we did that, because I think it looks absolutely fantastic. Contrast plus, baby. And finally, we have the Sanguinary Guard. Here they are. And, well, when you have them in person, they look better, I think. They're nice models. I did a really good job on them, I hope. I particularly like the powered blades of the swords. No, spears. Those are spears, not swords. There are swords in the box, though. Could have done swords. There you have it. All done. All of the Blood Angels. So there will be painting videos for all of this coming in the very, very near future. Most of it will be coming this week, in fact. So that's a lot of content to look forward to. Now, let's talk about those sprues. First and foremost, that transfer sheet, eh? How good is it? As I've been kind of making this video and going back and looking at that footage, I understand why I got so giddy over it. It's such a good transfer sheet. I'm just really, really pleased with it. And this actually is really encouraging for the future. I think the Space Wolves might get the same treatment. A really, really, really good transfer sheet. They're big. There is a lot of transfers on there. And, well, we have upgrade kits for the rest of the Firstborn chapters, so who knows? Maybe more of this sort of thing could come in the future. It's an absolutely wicked transfer sheet. It's one of the top 2 reasons to buy the Sanguinary Guard box. The second one being to get the Sanguinary Guard. However, based on those sprues, as you could tell, I was not impressed. Yeah, there's a lot of strange things happening on these Blood Angels sprues that I've personally, or at least I can't remember having ever seen before. Things like that connection point right on the knee pad, of all places. Just insane. And I know some of you might be just kind of like, if you're new, why is a connection point on a cutting edge of a blade such a problem? But for me, it's just like a cardinal sin, because it's the easiest place to accidentally kind of take a big chunk out of the blade. And because you don't get 50 blades in a box, you only get like 2 per model, so 6. In this case, I think there was 7 in total. you're really kind of just relying on your abilities to not make a mistake in the event that you ruin the model. Especially when you have something like a powered blade like this, when it's such a kind of like, you know, important focal part of the miniature. It's like with the Custodes, right? If the Custodes power blades on the kind of Guardian Spears had a connection point right on the cutting edge of the blade, every single blade, you would definitely make some mistakes, and then you would be... So to me, it is a real marker of quality of a sprue. And that's why, from that perspective alone, Sanguinary Guard sprues are not very good at all. It doesn't really matter about the models at the end of the day if it's really, really, really difficult to build, or if it takes way too long to build. It took me an hour and a half to build 3 models for 1 unit. That's a long time. So the Sanguinary Guard sprues are really bad. The Blood Angels Captain is okay. There's a number of those things that we already criticized in the video, like the connection point on the cutting edge of the power blade. But otherwise, it's a reasonable sprue. It's alright. I mean, the thing I have with that is that it's a strange product to me. For me, the Blood Angels Captain model is kind of like the Blood Angels equivalent of Lazarus, the Dark Angels character. That kit lets you build Lazarus or a Dark Angels Master. And they got a new named character out of it. Of course, he existed previously as a case of that Warzone Fenris or whatever it was called in 7th edition. But then he got his full captain model or master model a little bit later on. But that is a dual kit. It's a named character and a generic character model. And the Blood Angels one could have been exactly that. And I think I would have a lot more time for it if it did. Because this goes into my point about all of these models just being kind of remakes or remasters or beginnings. So it could have just been like Captain Michelangelo and then also build a Blood Angels Captain in there. And then we would have got a new datasheet and new stories and a new character to follow, doing something new. But none of that is a bearing on the sprue itself. The sprue is otherwise okay. Better than the Sanguinary Guard sprue. Sanguinary Priest, similarly, it's okay. It's an okay sprue. It's generally alright. It's generally quite good, except that helmet, that big connection point right on the top of the dome. Also, that was the one which had the connection point on the front of the foot, which I just had never seen before, I think, if I remember rightly. I'm editing this video right now. My memory, man. So that Sanguinary Priest was absolutely fine. And then the Sanguinor, 13 pieces or whatever it was. Should have been a really quick job, except it was covered in mold lines. And again, that mileage may vary in that respect. But the model that I had in particular took ages to put together because of that reason. So, you know, it's not going to reflect well in the final markings for these. That, and he's just an exceptionally tall version of his old model. There is almost no difference whatsoever. But that's it. I mean, like, they're emblematic of what my problems with 40k at the moment, but as I mentioned, we are just talking about the sprues really here. And if we're gonna be honest and we have to give these sprues a marking out of 10, 6.5. Honestly, like, on average, the Sanguinary Guard one brings it really low. And the connection points on cutting edges of blades and in weird places, and the cleanup was really long and all this kind of thing. Just the sprues themselves. We had warping on the Sanguinary Priest sprue as well, so I just 6.5 just feels right for me. Now, when I look at the models having built and painted them now, I don't mind them so much, but, you know, like I said, we're talking about sprues. Stay on target for sprues. Yeah, these sprues get a 6.5 out of 10 for me. I think it would be really hard to enjoy putting together 18 of these Sanguinary Guard. I think that would be very, very difficult, because I think you'd lose your mind scraping that many mold lines and having to deal with those connection points in those areas. And guess what? You will make mistakes on those blades. So there we have it. I hope you found this one useful and informative based on the sprues of the new Blood Angels. And, well, like I said at the top of the video, please do like, subscribe and comment below for more content like this and for all the painting tutorial stuff that's coming. That's all. That's everything there's left to say. We made it through the video. Just. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/Warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.